Did finding a PS5 just get more expensive? PS5s are getting more expensive here in America, but things are getting easier overseas. Oh, and when you're buying your PS5, make sure it's not a fake one, and there's a new remake coming soon. So out of all the different options you have when buying a PS5, the coolest thing that's happened this generation is that Sony is actually letting you buy it directly from them on PlayStation Direct. It's a pretty easy system. Basically, when there's PS5s in stock on the website, you have to log in with your PS Plus account and wait in a long line. And if your number is called by the time they're sold out, you'll be able to get a PS5 for retail price. And from what I've heard, it's pretty simple. There's easy ways to game it if you want to look that up yourself, and they ship pretty quickly. So overall, it seems like the best option. And with the story we're going to talk about in a few minutes, you'll see why it's getting even better. The interesting thing about PS Direct though is that up until now, it was only available in the US, and that's been frustrating a lot of people overseas because if you think PS5s are big here in America, they're even bigger in Europe. It's pretty much the only console people really go out and buy. I'm going to read this off my phone because there's actually too many countries for me to remember, but right now you can get on PS Direct, and if they have them available, you can order a PS5 from Germany, UK, France, Belgium, Netherlands, and Luxembourg. And that's, again, something you can do right now. It's kind of weird that they wrote out Belgium, Netherlands, and Luxembourg because when they do their financial reports, they call it Benelux. There's something you didn't know. Now, this is good news for a few reasons. First of all, it just gives you an official way to order a PS5 directly from Sony if you don't live in the United States. And also, if you're living overseas, it's probably going to drive the scalping prices down at least a little bit because, again, you have that official option. So the fact that they're launching a brand new store in so many different countries makes it seem like at least they have enough PS5s where they feel comfortable selling them. And especially since we're coming up on the end of the year, you know, holiday time, that means they're really comfortable selling them overseas because, you know, you don't want to spread your stock way too thin at the busiest time of year. And that lines up with these stories we've been hearing about Sony getting full 737s of PS5s and shipping them all over the world. I think at the time when this was announced, we did the math and it was like 16,000 PS5s per plane, which is a lot of PS5s. That's a huge amount that's being shipped all over the world. I'm getting conflicting reports here on my little earpiece that it might have been 10,000 PS5s per plane, but you know, 16,000, 10,000. The point is they've got a lot of PS5s going out. And that's a good thing because the rumors are starting up that we might be getting a new PS5 remake announced by the end of the year. And you know what's coming up in December? The Game Awards. So when I see rumors, I'm usually very skeptical, especially of announcements related to PlayStation, because at the end of the day, PlayStation is really good at covering leaks, except for with PlayStation Now and PlayStation Plus. I feel like they're putting all their energy into not letting new games leak so that they let these other ones slide. And you know what? That's a fair trade-off. Whenever a new store pops up or a new opportunity to get a PS5 launches, I tend to talk about it here in a video. So if you want to make sure you're up to date, subscribe and set your notifications to all. And you know, the holidays are coming up, so we might be giving away a PS5 soon. All right, you guys are gonna have to stick with me on this one. So recently there was an interview with a musical artist that goes by Ava. The reason I'm saying that is because I cannot pronounce her actual name, but basically what she said is she just finished recording an Irish language music piece for a big PlayStation remake that's going to be announced in December. Now, it really doesn't get more cut and dry than that, and the fact that it was an English language piece is really giving people something to go on. So the one theory that people have as to what game this could be is Xenogears. Now, this was a PS1 game, it was an RPG, I've never played it. I'm assuming it's related to Xenoblade in some way, you know, the Nintendo franchise. But whenever I see tweets about Xenogears coming back, it seems like people get really excited about it. So if that's one of the games that's being revived, I feel like that could be pretty cool. And honestly, I'd be excited to check it out because when you look at the landscape of PS games that made the PlayStation brand so big, Xenogears is one that always comes up. So I don't think I'm gonna go back and play a PS1 game, but if they remake it in PS5 style, that's where you're gonna get me on board. The other option people are thinking of probably won't surprise you because it's the game that always comes up as one people really want remade, and it's Bloodborne because it's an Irish language piece. Bloodborne takes place in the Victorian era, Ireland's near the UK. They're kind of connecting a lot of dots here that don't really make a whole lot of sense, but if you ask me what game I want remade for the PS5, it's definitely Bloodborne. Now, Bloodborne itself, I don't think needs a full ground up remake. Honestly, a 60 frames per second patch or maybe a 1440p 60 patch or even a 4K 60 patch would go a long way. But if Sony really wants that brand to be big, I feel like making a PS5 version that you can natively release on the console is a really smart move, because that'll get people to go out and buy it, right? There aren't a lot of PS exclusives right now. The biggest one we had this entire year was Deathloop, and that's technically an Xbox developed game, and I don't think it sold very well. So if Sony's like, hey, we remastered Bloodborne, it's coming out this December or this January, you know, you can go check it out while you're waiting for other big games like Horizon Forbidden West, that's probably going to be a really smart move for them. We also know they just picked up Bluepoint, the people who made Demon Souls and Shadow of the Colossus remakes, so if they're making Bloodborne, that would make a lot of sense. Another game we've heard is coming back on the PlayStation is Metal Gear Solid. Now there have been a ton of rumors about that franchise coming back. The most recent one said we're getting a full-on ground-up remake of Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater. Hopefully they're also working on the original game in Metal Gear Solid 2, because my buddy, I was over at his house over Halloween and I saw him replaying the whole game of Metal Gear Solid 2. I basically watched the entire thing. The story in that game is incredible. It was honestly kind of scary how it predicted how things are in the world right now, but if you look at the way that game plays, it does not play great. It's very esoteric. It plays almost like a little bit of an updated version of the first game, but somehow a little bit worse. And then again, you've already gotten a remake of Metal Gear Solid 1 called The Twin Snakes on GameCube, but in my opinion, that one kind of missed the mark. I'm pretty persnickety about Metal Gear Solid. I want things to be right, so if we're getting another remake of the whole series, I hope it includes all three of the first games. Another one that I haven't seen a lot of people talking about is The Last of Us. So earlier this year, there was that whole controversy where after Days Gone came out, and even though it was profitable, it didn't get great reviews, so Sony told Ben's studio they couldn't work on a sequel to it, and then they made them work on a remake of The Last of Us that was being like internally developed at Naughty Dog for a while, and then that was coming along so well that Naughty Dog was like, hey, we're gonna take over that, and we're gonna make Days Gone developers Ben Studio help us with that. And then Ben Studio was also allegedly working on a multiplayer mode for The Last of Us. There's a lot of stuff going on with The Last of Us that we still haven't heard announced in any way. So I feel like the Game Awards, you get that prestige with Jeff Keighley. He's always got some sort of PlayStation announcement lined up. The Last of Us happening at the Game Awards, that would just make a lot of sense to me. There's a ton of options when it comes to PlayStation remakes that need to happen, especially since they're so bad at backwards compatibility. I'm excited though, because we haven't had a big PlayStation announcement in a long time. And when you look at what's going on with Xbox, where they're releasing potentially Game of the Year, Forza Horizon 5, I want PlayStation to get back in the news, because, you know, that's my main place to play. If you still haven't gotten a PS5, the one place I would probably avoid looking for one is Facebook Marketplace, because there's a scam going around right now where you can actually get a console that looks a lot like a PS5, but if you look closer at the box, it's actually called the GS5. So at first when I saw this on Twitter, I thought it was just like a mock-up, a fake thing that someone made to be funny that would get viral on Twitter, but it turns out it's a real machine that people are buying. But then when you open the box and put it all together, plug it into your TV, it quickly becomes clear that it is nowhere near the quality of a PlayStation device, any PlayStation device. So when I was a kid, around Christmas time, you would go to like Walgreens or Rite Aid or CVS or any of these stores, and you would always see these like bunk ass remakes of consoles. Like there'd be a Genesis or a Pac-Man arcade machine that would have its own controller, and they would all be emulator devices that ran games horribly but looked kind of cool. Like the Genesis one, I would always see flying off the shelves because it looked like a Genesis. It came with pretty much every Genesis game, but then when you would take it home, it would be like the cheapest plastic you've ever touched. And it seems like that's exactly what this GS5 is. I guarantee you, you're gonna start seeing this thing in like Walmart or Costco even, or hey, maybe even Walgreens or Rite Aid. You're gonna walk in, your grandma is gonna see this GS5, she's gonna be like, oh, the GS5, isn't that what little Timmy said he wanted for me for Christmas? She's gonna buy it because it's only 40 bucks, and then you're gonna unwrap disappointment on Christmas morning. I just wanted to show you guys this thing because the box is hilarious, and if you are asking your grandparents for a PS5 this year, maybe it's worth showing them this and telling them not to buy the GS5 to make sure they know it's a P in the name and not a G. I mean, like, we look at this image, it doesn't look like a PS5 at all, but your grandma, your mom, your uncle, your aunt, these people who just want to make you happy, they're gonna see the $40 price tag on it and they're gonna get so excited that G is not even gonna register. So do some work here, make sure your family members are aware of what console you actually want. But if you're someone out there who still doesn't have a PS5 and you're just starting to get desperate enough to buy one from a scalper, there are a few other options you have to buy from stores. The problem is they're just pretty expensive. So the first retail scalper option you have is Best Buy Total Tech. This one comes in at $200 a year here, this is everything you get with it. Free Geek Squad support, which I don't think anyone who knows how to use a console is really gonna need. You get 24 months of product protection, which is basically an extended warranty. You get free delivery and standard installation, so you could have a guy come into your house and plug in your PS5 for you. You get VIP access to dedicated phone and chat teams, so if you're feeling a little lonely and you want someone to talk to, you can talk to Best Buy on the phone. They also say you get savings on repairs, but I don't think you're really gonna want Best Buy to be repairing your PS5. You also get free 2-day shipping and a 60-day return window. And on top of that, you get free Apple Care Plus with the program. So if you buy an iPhone and you buy it through Best Buy, this might actually be a good option to skip the line and be able to buy a PS5 from Best Buy. Unfortunately, when this was announced, we kind of thought, oh, maybe you could buy Totaltech for $200 and then just get your PS5 and then return it. But they say that you just cannot do that if you buy a PS5 with the Totaltech program. So no outsmarting Best Buy on this one. Another option you have for a retail scalper that's a little bit cheaper is Walmart Plus. Now, I wouldn't go with this option for a reason I'll talk about in a minute, but basically what you get is some very similar stuff to Best Buy Totaltech. Like free grocery delivery is an option. I don't know if you need that, maybe you do. That might be a cool thing to pick up, but also you get into their Black Friday sales early, so you won't have to fight people off in line at Walmart in a physical store. You can just do it online. That's a good option. The reason I wouldn't go with Walmart is we've been hearing so many reports of people who buy a PS5 through Walmart. Like Walmart takes their $500 and change, and then they just never get the PS5. Like someone ordered one in August that we heard about, but then they never got it, and then someone ordered it in September and got it 2 days later. And then we've seen all these videos of Walmart having a warehouse full of PS5s that they're hoarding. There's just some shady stuff going on with Walmart in general related to the PS5, so if you got the choice between Best Buy or them, I would go with Best Buy even though it's $100 more. Honestly, the best option here is the one we talked about earlier in the video, PlayStation Direct. It's the easiest one to use. It seems like their system works really well. Like I mentioned, there's a way to game it so you can have it logged in multiple times and maybe one of them will come up sooner than the other. You'll have to Google that yourself, but in my opinion, the best place to get a PS5 is probably directly from Sony. My favorite place to get the stuff is from Amazon, but their stuff sells out so fast. It's nice getting the Prime shipping if you have Prime, but yeah, again, you gotta be so quick with Amazon that I don't think you're gonna have great odds getting a PS5 from them. And then finally, you have GameStop. They have their Power Up Rewards Ultimate system, which sometimes they do the same thing that Best Buy and Walmart are doing, where they have Power Up Rewards Ultimate member only lines to get a PS5. They do that rarely, and from what I've heard, it doesn't always work really well. Like the website crashes or people just don't get PS5s from it. The other option GameStop always gives you though is just buying the PS5 in a bundle where they pack in every accessory you can think of, like an extra controller, a couple games, a charging pack, a headset, everything you need to get started with the PS5 they include, and then you'll just be paying them like $800 to $1,000 depending on what's included in that bundle. And honestly, I don't think that's too bad of a way to go. I just hate going into GameStop because they're always trying to sell me on some membership thing, but if you buy it online for store pickup, you do the bundle and make sure it's a bundle that has stuff you were eventually going to get anyway, that's probably a decent option for you at least. Like I mentioned earlier in the video, it should be getting a little bit easier to find a PS5. There's gonna be a sweet spot, I feel like, between now and the end of the month where you're gonna have your best odds of getting one, and then from December 1st to December 24th, good luck. I don't think you're gonna have much luck at all. And then real quick for you awesome people who stay till the end, I don't usually talk about new game releases here on the channel, but there's a new game that came out that has like no marketing that I actually think is pretty cool. It's called Jurassic World Evolution 2. Now the first version of this game came out with the last Jurassic World movie, and unfortunately that Jurassic World movie was not good, but then the game was awesome, and I don't feel like that many people played it. This second one looks even better. I wasn't even paying attention, I didn't realize it was already out, but they have a new mode called the Chaos Theory mode where you get to go through moments from each Jurassic Park movie and fix them. So you go into Jurassic Park 1 and you get to fix Jurassic Park, and then you go into the Lost World Jurassic Park, and this is the coolest thing, this is what got me so hyped. You get to make the San Diego Jurassic Park that they're teasing for the entire movie. They've got that awesome little model of it that looks amazing. You get to see it when Ian Malcolm goes and rescues the baby T-Rex from it at the end of the movie. You never get to see it open and working though, and it was such a cool design that in the game now you get to fix, which is dope. And then in Jurassic Park 3, you get to rescue the dinosaurs for Jurassic World, so on and so forth. This might be a game that's worth checking out. It's also not, even if you get it on PS5, it's not a $70 game unless you get the deluxe edition. So if you're into park builders like I am, like Zoo Tycoon or anything like that, and you had the dream of building your own Jurassic Park, you might want to check this one out. Honestly, this game is giving me Jurassic Park Operation Genesis vibes. If you've never heard heard of that game, it's basically the best park builder ever made, objectively. Do not argue with me on that one because it's incredible. When I was in elementary school, you could order stuff from Scholastic Book Fair, and I ordered Jurassic Park Operation Genesis from them, and it took like 6 months to get there, but man, when I installed that on my computer, I played that game for like hundreds of hours. So if you love that game like I did when you were a kid and you want something new that's just like it, Evolution 2 seems like a good option. Anyway guys, that's all the PlayStation news I have for you today. Make sure you let me know what you think down in the comments below, and remember to subscribe and set your notifications to all if you haven't already. As always, my name is Jimmy Champagne, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.